Hey, give thanks for life. Give thanks for life. Oh, chimney, chimney. Today my rise like the sunrise, my bright and my upright. No one can broke my vibe.
Welcome to once again to Strong and Healthy. Strong. Let me see your strength.
Strong
okay.
and healthy.
And I have with me a fascinating gentleman. Comment ça va?
Très bien.
Comment t'appelles-tu?
Serge Lhomme.
Serge Lhomme.
Lhomme.
Ah, français. Je ne parle pas en français. He speaks English much better than I do, don't you, Serge?
Well, I speak English too, yeah. And some other languages, 7 in all.
7?
7.
Hey, Papa. What? Tell me.
Well, German, French, English, Spanish, and just keep going.
Okay.
Even the Haitian Creole that I had spent 5 years to learn.
5 years. Okay,
5 years.
Good.
That's how difficult it is to speak the Haitian Creole.
Serge is a fascinating gentleman, but as you know, we always start our show with a word of scripture. Okay, so I have here from John chapter 20 and verse 22. It says, and he breathed on them and said, receive the Holy Spirit. We just came out of the season of Pentecost. We had a long holiday. How did you spend your holiday? Mine was very restful and worshipful, I must add. And Serge has some thoughts about that. He's a great conversationalist. I was over at his place, High Rise Beach on the bayfront. Have you been there? It is a great place. The floor is covered with sand.
Yeah, it's a beach bar, actually.
It's a beach bar. And the cuisine, he's French, so he has amazing French cuisine at a very reasonable price, I must say. But what I found most fascinating was the conversation that we struck up with him. And I said, you know, I've got to get you on the show. So first of all, Serge, you were born in Dominica?
No. My mom and my dad had a clash, so I was conceived in Dominica. And they had a clash, so she went back to her country. So I was born in Martinique.
Almost too much information, huh? But what happened in your childhood? You told me about the age of 5 and age of 9. What happened in those times?
Well, the clash continued. They had 16 separations. So at the end, at the last separation, she took her 9 kids and then she brought them away to Guadeloupe. And I was the last one, 5 years old. And she brought us to Guadeloupe, so new environment. And then she was a very particular French lady. She would never speak French to her children because she didn't want to root us out of Dominica, but at the same time she wanted to get the mindset of Dominica out of us.
The mindset of Dominica. We're going to talk about that because when I was at High Rise Bar, we had a very stimulating conversation about the mindset of Dominica. But before we go any further, may I take your blood pressure, sir?
No problem.
Almost thought he said no, but here we go. You know, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but when was the last time you had a headache?
I guess I was like 13 years old.
Okay, let's stop here.
That.
Last time he had a headache was when he was 13. So he has some views and experiences about health, but for right now, we're going to tell him to taisez-vous. What does that say in French?
Yeah, taisez-vous.
Okay.
Silence.
Silence. Okay. While we take the blood pressure. Well, if this was scripted, it is almost too good to be true. His blood pressure is perfect, my friends. You know what normal blood pressure is? 120/80. And as you talk to him, you realize that he's the kind of guy who would keep doctors poor and clinics closed as far as health is concerned. But you're talking about your upbringing, your French Dominican upbringing. You were born in Martinique, and then what?
from a Dominican father.
Uh-huh.
So I passed through a Dominican father and a French mother.
Mm-hmm.
These people I passed through to be present on earth.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah. They was nice people, hardworking though. Very hardworking, yeah.
And you said your mother, may she rest in peace.
Uh-huh.
You lost her at age 90 last
Well, I
year.
didn't lost her. God gained her. I didn't lost her.
You see what I mean? This guy is wisdom. Seriously, I get a lot of wisdom from this gentleman, and I am corrected, sir.
Yeah.
But she used to say some negative things about Dominica because of what you called it.
I go well. Well, yeah, we usually say I go well. Well, in fact, because of the separation, and she invested so much into that man. Well, 9 children. You know, you invested a lot in that person.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, she had 11. 2 of them passed away. So she invested a
And what
lot.
number are
in,
you, by the way?
Number 9.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Number 9. And she invested a lot in him. And at the end, they clashed. So she had to leave. So it was a very bitter experience for her after 16 years, very bitter. So she remained a very bitter person. She wanted to have nothing to do with Dominica, nothing to do with Dominicans. And that was the kind of person that I had to, you know, live with and live by every day. I would hear only bad things about Dominica. Then you go to school, because she had to send you to school eventually. You come to that French place where you don't speak French and you hear Creole and so on. And the school children would laugh at you, and they would say, oh, even our hair was a funny haircut back in the 70s, remember? They would cut this side, we used to call it bebop. And then you would come to school, and she was the one cutting your hair. So she was influenced by our culture. So when you come to school, then they would say, oh, the English people, listen to them, they speak in English. Oh, by the way, the English people, they are criminals, they killed Jeanne d'Arc. That was back in the 1400s.
Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of these days I was just mad and vexed about the whole thing, and I just went home and I say, Ma, why you brought us here? Then I remember she say, you want me to slap you? Then I say, okay. I said, but Ma, one day I'll go back home and I'll make them say good things about my country. And ever since I came back, I was 39. I remember when I went back to her and I said, Ma, I'm going back home. And she said, that thing never come out of your head.
Dominica.
And here I am, 15 years after.
Wow. I told you he's a fascinating guy. We've got to write your biography, you know. We write a lot of books, and yours is certainly a fascinating biography, even at age 9, because, and this still goes on in terms of many, I don't know how many thousands of Dominicans are in Guadeloupe, Martinique for a better life. Tens of thousands, perhaps. And those experiences still continue. Now, I never knew that in a colony, a former colony, a department of France, that mindset still prevailed, that we go way back, the English killed Joan of Arc. I mean, I never heard of that before.
That's why I think people need to understand how powerful philosophy is. Because philosophy is, it's a dangerous tool. It's a very dangerous tool. And then most of us are victim of the philosophy that we granted our ear to. We are most victim of that. So that's why back in the 70s you would see only clear-skinned people working in banks or white-skinned people working in banks. This comes from far, very far. Has nothing to do with white or black. This is a Greek philosophy. For the Greek, you have a pointed nose, your skin was white, and you were sent by the gods to lead. So when these Romans went to Greece and they invaded Greece, they took all the books, all the scrolls, all the library, and then they start living by the words of the Greeks. That's why the Romans always thought about dark-skinned people as low class, second class, or even no class at all. So that's why at the end, when the Roman Empire fragmented by the French, you know, they call them Visigoth, Franco, Urals, Vandals, and all these people, they inherit the same Greek philosophy. That's why they went to Africa, took the slaves, and so, because there was lesser people. And this philosophy is embedded in us right now.
Let's bring it home now, and that is fascinating.
It's embedded in the house.
I've used the word fascinating a bit too much, haven't I? Let's see if I I think I have a wider vocabulary than that, but he is fascinating, so I'll use it one more time. Serge, the prejudices that exist in Guadeloupe and Martinique against Dominican people, some people told me they're called cockroaches. What's the French for that? Or
Oh, they call us quinquin.
Quinquin.
You mean shark, you know, and they call us many names, by the way, you know, and basically we're women, so I'll shut that part, you know. But yeah, they are very insultive. But, you know, I'll come back to it. It is embedded in them because the French people came from the Romans, that came from the Greek, with the same philosophy. So when you go to school in Guadeloupe and you reach that philosophy level, the first people that they introduce you to is Aristotle, Plato, these people. But these people are the same people that wrote this kind of philosophy that there is upper class and lower class, there is God-sent slaves, and there are God-sent leaders. Now, the French people, if you are poor, like Dominican happen to be poor, I mean, not really literally poor, we have to redefine that term, but for them, we are poor. So, you see, if you take people that has that kind of philosophy and you just give them, for instance, a uniform, all of a sudden they don't tell you hello anymore. They just walk you by straight because now you're low. They're higher, they're bigger. You see, it's a Greek thing.
so I know many Dominicans that show as well, you do as well, who have gone to the French islands and who have prospered and have studied in Paris and do well. But that story, you know, the prejudice that they endure, even while they are prospering and being able to help their friends and family back in Dominica, you have to give them special credit. So that's a shout out to all of you out there in the French islands, being high-minded and being able to overcome the difficulties and the setbacks. Oh, yeah. But coming back to you now, you came back to Dominica 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
And what did you do?
So 15 years ago, I decided, I was a little bit scared to come back, by the way, because when you grow up in an environment where everybody despises Dominica, and then they tell you don't go back there, you don't have nothing there, don't even think about that, and so on and so on. So when you battle all of that, and you decide, okay, I'm going back, then they tell you, don't sell your house. You never know. You might need it back. You know, don't sell your car, don't sell nothing overseas because you don't know. Dominica is the place where everybody have to run. Okay. So I told them, well, you know what? Number one, I'm gonna sell the house. Number two, I'll sell the business with the right.
In
Saint Martin.
In Saint Martin, yes.
And I sold everything. And then I came and I give myself no open door to the outside. And then I remember I promised my mother, I said, Ma, you know what? The only promise I can give you is you're going to be buried in Guadeloupe, right? Or the only promise I'll give you is I'll not be buried by your side. I'll be buried in Dominica. So I came back and I started working hard at bringing up things, but with the same idea. They will say good things about my country. But first I had a mistake. I thought the people that were saying bad things about my country was, you know, the outsiders. So then I started working hard in the tourist industry. I wanted them to say good things about my country. Then after marriage, I realized it's not the tourists that are saying bad things about my country. It's not them. It is my people. So I switched, and now my people, I've been attacking you full force, and I'm going to deliver to you what you never thought you could receive in your lifetime.
We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back.
Sweet talk, dear man, have a lot of that. Yes, I. You don't know it's your boy Trilogy, urging everybody, young and old, to stay strong and stay healthy. You don't know we're doing it for 2018. Boom.
thanks for life. Give thanks for life. Oh, chimney, chimney. Today my rise like the sunrise, my bright and my upright. No one can break my vibes.
I love this.
We're right back with Serge Lhomme. I mean, spell that name, by the way.
Lhomme, apostrophe H-O-M-M-E.
And for those of you who do French, we say nom in patois,
In
that
patois,
means what?
no, the man.
The man. The man Serge is here. And he said, you said you were about to launch an attack. Before you do, let's talk about the business, because those are sparkling jewels in the Dominica economic scene and entertainment and dining experience. Tell us about High Rise. That's where I met you and we had this nice conversation.
Okay, High Rise is something I had in mind. Is like every time the tourists come, they would ask for the beach, the beach, the beach, the closest beach. So I realized, you know what about giving them something that would shock them, and they would talk about it. So I found a place, a piece of concrete on the top of a building. That was where Top Shatters used to be back then. Curiosity also had something up there. And I decided I'm going to make a beach bar. And then I put sand on the floor, I put the palm trees, grape trees, and so on. And then the tourist was fascinating. And so far my mind wasn't on the local market yet. And then I started thinking about the local market. And now, well, the local market love it. They love it. So they're saying good things about it, you know. As a matter of fact, Dr. Christian saying good things about it too, right?
No, Ruins, you own that as well,
Ruins,
and the spice shop.
yes, Ruins, the spice shop. Okay, primarily I'm a spice man.
But before you say,
Right.
The High Rise Bar is located where, precisely?
On the bayfront, that's Dame Junior Charles Boulevard. Upstairs, that's close to the ferry, the express terminal, right there.
Yeah.
It's pretty close
I
to
think
it.
the Petit Paradis opened up in the corner, or what?
Le Petit Paris is open in the corner. That is the French bakery is open in the corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
right there. So upstairs. And for concerning Ruins, Ruins is the prototype. Prototype what? Ruins is an expression of my knowledge, what I know and what I love. I first opened the spice shop, that's Caribbean Magic Spice. And my mom was the lady. She was from India. Well, her background was from India. So she taught me the use of 9 different spices, how to use them, medicinal purposes, and so on and so on. And I got so passionate about spices, how you could alter flavor, bring in new flavors, and so on. So I get so passionate about it that now I could say I can handle like 323 spices, you know? And I can,
323?
and I can mix them, I can, you know.
I think at my home we probably have about 5. We have maybe clove, garlic, cinnamon.
Yeah. Onion is considered.
onions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's
if you want to
about it.
add parsley, I don't know whether that's a
a-
herb.
Yeah.
Or something
Well,
like
that's
that.
also spices, because spices means specie in Italian, which means flavoring.
Flavoring.
Yeah.
So you're
you
talking
can
about
flavor.
300.
And 23.
So I asked him, I mean, are those Dominican spices? But you said you have spices from.
Yeah, we have spices. We used to have more though in the days of Mr. Blue. He used to grow cardamom and all of that. But we still have black pepper. We still have clove. We still have a few cardamom left. We have cinnamon, which we call spice. We have, as a matter of fact, it's not really spice. It's cassia. Is the real name for our local cinnamon. And we also have nutmeg. We have mace. We have, you know, so we have quite some. The last time I counted, we have like 12 different spices.
And you say you have stuff as far away as Pakistan.
Yeah, I have stuff from Pakistan, and then the, how you call it? This star anise is coming all the way from China, and I have also Sichuan pepper from China, you know. And then I have some spices from gathering neighboring islands. They help us with that too.
So you're saying that if somebody is really into the culinary arts and they want to talk with somebody who is passionate and professional about it, with some
About the spices.
good French cuisine, this is a place
Well,
to go.
they could come to the only spice man on the island.
The only
I
spice man.
am the only spice man on the island. You know, I study spices. I know spices. I know which one is. I know which one can be very dangerous to your health, and I know which ones that could be very profitable to your health. For instance, Nigella or Nigella, they also call it Nigella. Some people call it the black seed, or black cumin. That is very good to lower your high blood pressure, sugar, and so on. I have fenugreek. Fenugreek we use in cooking is one of the basic in the making of curry. But fenugreek is the same pill that they give you to lower your blood pressure. Fenugreek is in there, you know. So you might as well just come to me. I'll give you the real fenugreek, and you make the real thing with it.
So that's a spice shop, and the ruins itself. What's its claim to fame? What's the attraction there?
Well, the attraction.
You have a location right next to the old market, don't you?
Right next to the old market, and the tourists make it popular all the past years. You know, they keep videos and whatever. And on the cruise ship, before they step out the cruise ship, they give them the wood. The wood is you go straight to the ruins. Why? Because that's where you find our heritage, a representation of our heritage, our culture, and even beyond that. Why? Because you will get things on the restaurant side, ruin side, on the restaurant side, on the bar side, you will get things that you don't get in the entire Caribbean. Where in the Caribbean you could drink a shot of snake rum? Nowhere. But in Dominica. Where in the Caribbean you could eat snake meat? Nowhere. But in Dominica. Where can you get exotic stuff like alligator meat or whatever? In Dominica. Only in Dominica. So I make it a very special thing. When they come, they will say good things about my country. That was the idea. So the ruins is really serving that purpose right now. In the tourism industry, on Sundays, cruise ship is in, everywhere is closed. I make it a point of duty, ruins is there to serve. And even if there's no cruise ship, like for instance, we had Pentecost and all these people come from Guadeloupe, and so during the weekend, the long weekend we just had, ruins make it a point of duty to open Saturday, Sunday, Monday, even when everybody else is closed. So somebody have to feed these people. Because I remember in Guadeloupe, not too long ago, I was talking to some people, and you know what they told me? Why on Sundays you cannot even find a place to eat in Roseau?
That is true. That's
and
a big
I make
problem.
it a point of duty that any business I have will be open on Sunday in Roseau to eat. Why? Because I don't want these people to say bad things about my country.
And you understand that theme, and that's why he appeals to me so much, because the man's motivation, the central motivation of his life, is saying that he wants people to say good things about his country. And it resonated with me when he said he sold everything and came to Dominica. In military strategy, you say that you're burning your bridges. Okay, if you cross into the enemy territory, okay, and you don't want soldiers to run back because they're afraid, no retreat, you burn the bridges, we have to fight and we have to win. So that is the kind of can-do attitude and spirit that just got me so excited. You know, I was doing very well as a surgeon in the United States. As he said, I sold my house, I gave everything, I burnt my bridges, I came to Dominica, there's no turning back. And we're going to make things happen. And that's why he appeals to me so much. So tell us a little bit now. We have the story of the ruins and High Beach Bar. And but you mentioned Pentecost just a while ago, and the Lord breathing on his disciples and saying, receive the Holy Spirit. You have some certain religious views. You're not very happy with traditional religion as it is, would you say?
I would say that Christ never brought a religion to earth. He brought a government. A government. When we talk about government, we're talking about governance. You see, when he say he brought a kingdom, what's a kingdom? A kingdom is a king's domain. These are two words put together. A king and his domain. That's a kingdom. Right? So this compression of these two words, a kingdom, when Christ came and he was baptized, he came out and he said, behold, now the king's domain is back on earth. So he brought a kingdom. And he only, for the 3 years and a half, only spoke about the kingdom. The kingdom is not a religion.
And the kingdom is within you.
The kingdom, this is how it operates. Genesis chapter 1, God put man in his presence. He didn't mean the presence of God. That's why we never find the garden. It's because the garden was not a literal garden. It was the presence of God. So God put man in his presence and he said, have dominion. It's still dominion. So then you have dominion, which means I establish you king on earth so that you can bring the influence of our home country, which is heaven, on earth. This is the idea. God wanted to colonialize this place. So when he put man, he gave man dominion, not a religion. There was no worship in the garden. There was the man talking to God in the fresh and the cool of the afternoon. So he had a relationship with him. He told him, work. Work is what? Become. Become what you were supposed to be, the one I designed you to be. Become that person. God never tell him, listen, the chairs and the table, they will be in the trees. He never said that. He let him figure it out. So Adam had to eventually someday sit down. He had to eventually lie down one day. So he understood that if he used the trees, he can sit, he can sleep. You see? So I don't believe in that religion thing, absolutely not at all, because religion is an experience, emotional experience. And religion, they preach everything except the kingdom. They preach everything except the kingdom.
Citizen.
I am a kingdom citizen. I am an ambassador of Christ. Why? Because when Christ gave us that mandate, he said he's giving us the keys for a government, for the kingdom, a government. Then Isaiah 66, a son is given, right? And that son, when he came on earth, he came with what on his shoulder? The government of God was upon his shoulder. The government, not a religion. Otherwise, Christ would build a church before he go. You see? And that's where we make a mistake. The church we're talking about is ecclesia. Ecclesia means a senate. That's why they call us ambassadors. Why? Because a senate is a political figure. An ambassador is a political figure. It's a political figure. And why he tells us don't be concerned about nothing on earth? Why? Because when you're an ambassador sent from another country, they will take care of your clothes, they will take care of your shoes, they will take care of your food. An ambassador has nothing to pay. His country is paying for everything. That's why he said, Matthew 6, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. You are an ambassador, nothing but an ambassador. And now the mandate is go and make sure all men understand that this message of the kingdom has to be preached, and it will serve as a test, which means a testimony means I try it, it works, and it will serve as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. So don't be afraid about an earthquake will come and devastate Dominica, or a tsunami or whatever. Nothing is going to devastate earth. The only thing that's going to close the chapter on earth and all nations are going to bow is one message going to close it. And this message of the kingdom will be preached, and then the end will come. So make sure you have the right message and you're preaching the right message to the people, because you might be resisting the coming of Christ by preaching the wrong message. So the message of prosperity is not what we're supposed to be preaching about. The message of miracles is not what we'll be preaching about, because miracles cancel management, and God put us on earth to manage, not to expect miracles.
We will be right back. We will be right back in closing.
I love listening to Strong and Healthy with Dr. Sam. I really learn a lot.
Sweet talk. Dear man, have a lot of that. Yes, sir. You don't know it's your boy Trilogy, urging everybody, young and old, to stay strong and stay healthy. You don't know we're doing it for 2018. Boom.
Today my rise like the sunrise, my bright and my upright, no one can broke my vibes.
I love listening to Strong and Healthy with Dr. Sam. I really learn a lot.
Strong and healthy. I need to be doing some more curls, you know. big biceps. But anyway, we're really on a roll here, and we're going to wrap up in a little bit. Of course, I just wanted to mention a lot of people have been trying to find my office, which is now relocated on Didier Lane, which is behind Public Works SMAT area. Okay, I'm going to put a little map there that you can see it. It's a road just below the Stock Farm Road, going up to State College, Tariq Street, Bellevue Royal Prisons, and so forth. Okay, so right there, nice, much better parking, less congested. We love it. So looking forward to see you. Stay well, stay healthy. But if you need to see a doctor, come to the clinic, my office there. Now, Serge, we've had a wonderful time. Again, I'm just absolutely delighted to hear you and to hear your interesting perspective on things. We want to conclude by talking about some of the things we talked about at the High Rise Beach Bar Restaurant, which was the work ethic of Dominicans. We're talking about the mindset, which you mentioned earlier on. Do we need to work on that a little bit?
Dr. Christian, I will say work on it. Okay, we need first to re-establish things. There's work and there is job. We need to know the difference between a work and a job. Right? A job is what I pay you for. Your work, no one can fire you from that. Why? Because you've been working on yourself. You can only be the only person that can change or renew your mind, renew your mindset. And when you renew your mindset, find the purpose for which you were sent on earth. We all came loaded. We all have a gift, a talent. And that gift and that talent was given for, I'll take for instance, if God sent you through a Dominican man, a Dominican woman, and make you born in Dominica, is because he had a purpose to fulfill in Dominica. He didn't send you, then you're born, then you run and go and fulfill a purpose somewhere else for some other country. So are you telling me that God made a mistake when you was born in Dominica? You have a message, you have a mission, to fulfill, and that mission is in Dominica. You need to be passionate about something. There's a gift, there's a talent, because no one come on earth without a gift and a talent. All of us came loaded. And whatever, when God demands from a bird to fly, is because he put flight in that bird. If God asks a fish to swim, it's because he put swim in that fish. If God, before we was born, give us gift and talent, is because he knew that his product have to succeed because it's good for him. Rich man would manufacture a product and make sure that he give you a product with a defect. No, it's because of his name's sake that he don't want
the young people of Dominica and their work ethic. I think over the past several years we have gone to a point where we have a very dependent outlook mentality where we expect things to be given to us. And there's a high degree of obesity. I think Dominica is one of the most obese islands in the Caribbean, and one of the most alcoholic islands in the Caribbean. And also one of the islands where we have very high marijuana use, not as a recreation, but, and I know this is a little bit controversial because I believe there are many positive things about marijuana, and that marijuana should and will be legalized in Dominica in the near future. But when somebody is addicted and is smoking all the time, then their mind is not in the most creative way. So how can we, it's going to take a shift in perspective for Dominicans to begin to think in terms of, I have to work and fix this country to overcome what ails it.
Well, Dr. Christian, first I'll say reconnect with your God, and then he will show you your purpose. The thing is not about work. The thing is about what is it you were sent right here to fulfill. Because if you find the mission why you were sent here, then you have no more problem. Now we're talking about health. You have no more problem. Why? Because you've been doing things, or you've been going to a job that you hate, And then you must go to see Dr. Christian. Why? Because you're under stress. But if you find your purpose for which you was born, you're no more concerned about money. You're no more concerned about nothing, because if there was no money in it, you'd still be doing it. You'd be passionate about it. Find something for which you're passionate. Now, if you want me to give you a hint, I'll give you a hint. Why I decide, and I knew that this was my mandate on earth, they will say good things about my country. Why? Because that was the only thing on earth that would make me mad, vex. Find something that making you vex, that making you mad, and fix it. This is why you was born. Find something that making you mad. Find something, sit down, meditate, find something that even if there was no money, you would still be doing it. It means that you was born to do that. Now find something in your country to fix, go around, look, find something to fix, pick up a challenge and be passionate about something. Don't just stay there and hoping that we should take care of you or whatever. Dr. Christian, this has been a big problem. Why? Back in the 70s, and I remember the 80s, parents used to say, I don't want my children to go through the hardship that I go through. This was wrong. This was wrong. Why? Because the same people that tell you that is the same people that go to church and they read the Bible there's Hebrew chapter 9, where God chastises us like his children, and brothers, like in the book of James, brothers, every hardship and hard time, regard it as a joy to be participant, right? So now we're teaching our children that they should not suffer, they should not feel no way. But I'll tell you something, the best part of the orange is the juice, right? So if the juice is the best part of the orange, which we all love and we all know it's going to bring something to our body, make us feel good and so on and so on. How do you get orange juice? Dr. Christian, how do you get orange juice? You squeeze it.
Squeeze.
How do you want the best of you to be delivered and served to humanity or to your country? You have to go through some squeezing process. You have to. So don't tell me your children are supposed to go through the squeeze process. Everyone has to go through the squeeze process, because the squeeze will bring out the best of what you have to offer to the world. And now we can pick up challenge. Go ahead, look for a problem. What's business? Since I was 7 years old, I've been in business, because my mom tell me don't sell on her table, so she give me a plastic bag with limes and she tell me go sell. Because you love to sell, go sell. Well, I realized one thing about selling. The product is one, but the person that sells the product has to be passionate about the product, has to know the product. Are you passionate about your country? Are you passionate about that product? Can you sell that product? Because I can sell that product. That's why when you come to the ruins, if you observe that I serve you in high-rise and ruins in a stone plate or a wooden plate, it's not because I insult you. It's because this is what my country is all about. I respect the heritage and the culture of my country, so I serve you in a wooden plate and I serve you in a stone plate. These people, when they come, they are amazed. They take pictures of my wooden plate, they take pictures of the stone plate, and they say it's fantastic. Find something, a challenge, and take up that challenge and change the whole face of your country. Just change it. And if you want a challenge, just go around, have a look. There are many things missing. Right now, Maria gave us great opportunities for business. Because what's business? Business is just you solve a problem. That's all what it is.
Feeling a need.
You feel a need. Mm-hmm. That's all. And I remember that guy, they told me he died millionaire and whatever. What have he done? He looked at his mother in the mirror in the morning, and she was trying to tie her hair, and he realized, what about just giving a little piece of iron and just bend it, and that can hold the hair, and then we call that a hairpin. And then he gave it curve. This guy died rich. Why? He just solved a problem. He wasn't trying to be rich. He wasn't going after the money. He was going after solving a problem. And I am going after solving a problem. It's been years that I never had a salary, but I don't care about that. I have to solve that problem. You will say good things about my country, and you won't have to leave your country. And when people come, you will carry the diaspora and bring them and say, I'll show you a cool spot. I'll show you what my country is all about. I'll show you. I'll make you eat in a wooden plate. I'll make you sit on the floor in the sun. I'll make you eat on stone. I'll make you have an experience you never had before. I am here to solve a problem. Go seek a problem and solve it. In your community, there are problems to solve in your community. Don't go after the money. People that go after money, they never get it. And I know.
and that's why you can understand why, you know, even now as he's speaking, chills running down my body. This because this man is passionate. He has a belief. He has a confidence and a pride in his country. He knows that we're going to overcome the deepest, darkest days that we're going through.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you for coming on the show and for sharing something positive. You know, and strong and healthy is not just about you know, medicines and telling people check your blood pressure and your cholesterol and get your pap smear, your PSA done and so forth. Exercise, lose weight. All those things are good, and you'll hear it here as you hear it everywhere else. But what is so important is having strong, passionate people who will inspire us and motivate us, you know, to do the things that we need to do to make the necessary changes for Dominica to prosper. And when you talk about squeezing that orange to get the juice, which is the good part, you know, that squeezing involves discipline, and it involves organization, it involves working together. Even though there are people who feel and think a little different from you, we've got to work together as a team to build this country up. And that is why that line is in our national anthem. And our people, strong and healthy, full of godly reverent fear. That's a man. Thank you, Surge.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I hope we see lots of people who saw that video, that article come down to, what's the name of the place again?
Ruins Rock Cafe and High Rise Beach Bar. Remember, wooden plate and stone plate.
Okay.
Hey, give thanks for life. Give thanks for life. Oh, chimney, chimney. Today my rise like the sunrise, my bright and my upright. No one can break my fire.